Mike the MC, bringing another self-care video. This one's going to be 129 of the Catechism with respect to the unity of the Old and the New Testament. And I figure, okay, I'll just complete this section because there's just two more numbers from here in the Catechism that I can share with you. And so 129 is really going to continue on with that idea of unity of the Old and the New, but really taking a look at the Old in the sense, okay, let's look at the lessons from the Old and remember, okay, if I really want to dive into the Old, use the tools from the New to learn about the Old, then I can really gain an idea of what the people of the past were talking about and use that in the future moving forward. And so let me share with you 129 of the Catechism. And it states, Christians therefore read the Old Testament in the light of the Christ crucified and risen. Such typological reading discloses the inexhaustible content of the Old Testament, but it must not make us forget that the Old Testament retains its own intrinsic value, as revelation reaffirmed by our Lord himself. Besides, the New Testament has to be read in the light of the Old. Early Christian catechists made constant use of the Old Testament. As an old saying put it, the New Testament lies hidden in the Old, and the Old Testament is unveiled in the New. And so this intrinsic value reaffirmed, right, with respect to Revelation. Revelation being the end of times, being that there's going to be maybe this last battle, maybe there's this, what it's alluding to, this final judgment for the world, etc., right? Revelation is such an intense book written by John. And you wonder, okay, what was he trying to tell us? What was he trying to say? What's he alluding to that we should be aware of? Well, you think about it, the four horsemen, pestilence, plagues. You think about these things that have been written in the Old Testament, right? The times of Moses, the plagues of that time as well on the Egyptians. And you think, okay, this isn't new. How can I look at the old stories from the Old Testament and look at them now in today's world? Okay, what are the modern plagues that we see today that are hitting us in today's society? And I think you could look at it from technology perspective, alcohol, you can look at it as substances, all these other plagues, loss of talking with people. I was just reading the other day that it's about 35 minutes that a couple will spend time talking together, even with those just typical conversations of errands even. And you're thinking, wow, this is so little. How is a couple going to survive in today's society with so little talk in a week? 35 minutes a week, how are you going to build a relationship? And I was just thinking about that. Okay, if I'm going to build a relationship with people, with everyone throughout these videos on this channel, I got to think, okay, what content is good? How can I always improve the videos? But then how can I also be consistent? And so I may not have been able to promote the quality of the videos per se over the last several months just because of work and demand and etc. But at least I have the consistency to promote a message each and every day. And so that's one thing I do have as far as this channel goes. And so I could keep this channel going each day just by posting something, not giving up on that. And that is true. And so when you have that consistency, okay, what is the consistency from the Old Testament into the New? So like I mentioned and alluded to earlier, plagues. Okay, the plagues of today. Okay, now who are the heroes that are going to stand up from in today's world that we can look at from the old times? You need a prophet. You need someone to be strong. You need someone to take on that criticism, to accept, okay, people are not going to like me. That's okay. Who are the heroes of today that are taking on those criticisms that you can see in society? Beyond politics, beyond sports, beyond entertainment, all these other things. Look at the everyday hero, the everyday person. See, that's you and I. That's you and I trying to make a difference in this world, and that people are trying to put a finger in our face and say, oh, you can't do anything. You're just a young kid on a channel making these videos. What do you know? What is your message about today? Well, mine is today just going to try to tell you to be awesome. And if you don't like what I have to say, fine, move on to another channel. Move and subscribe to another place. And that's okay. I don't need all that praise, because my message to you is that you can overcome your challenges to become a better person. And if you stick the finger in my face, all right, fine. I'll just say, forget it. I'm moving on. I don't need you to support me, because I can always channel another video, create another channel even myself. I don't care. I have the abilities to overcome, and so do you. And I hope you recognize that from the Old to the New Testament, that, hey, this connection of the heroes of the past to the present day today, you need people to stand up and evangelize, to challenge the old ways or the old styles with new ways of doing things, but enlightened by the old precepts, this idea that, hey, we can rise up from old challenges. We can form a community. We can rise from struggles and really make an identity for everybody. And that identity from me to you is that we are going to be inspired. And I will share with you from my perspective of counseling, religious work, etc., as far as an uplift of your heart, your mind, everything to do something great. And if you recognize that, I hope you do, that is, we're going to make this world a better place. We're going to work hard, not give up on ourselves, and to remember, hey, when the finger is stuck in our face and people want us to go away, walk silently into the light, into the darkness, whatever, and get fired, etc. Hey, I got a new opportunity ready for me to go on. I'm not going to give up on myself. I got skills and abilities. You got them too. And so let the people stand where they stand. And I stand where I stand. And you and I are going to inspire people just because of our persistence and consistency throughout the time. And that's what it takes sometimes, being consistent. So how are you going to be consistent today as your first step? And then how are you going to inspire people, become heroes in your own world, community, etc., and make this world a better place? Just thoughts to consider, but I hope this video finds you well of the Old and the New Testament, that unity. I'm going to wrap it up real soon here with another one and just see how this pans out moving forward. All right, everyone, take care. Have a good one.